Hello, my dear friend. I hope today finds you in peace with your heart steady and your breath calm. You know, at 60, 70, maybe even 80, we've been through a lifetime of tests. Not just the ones life throws at us, but the ones doctors order too. And we've always believed, the more we test, the safer we are. The more machines we go through, the longer we'll live. But what if I told you that some of those very checkups, the ones that seem routine, the ones you've been told are just to be sure, could actually push you closer to surgery, to stroke, or even to cancer? Yes, you heard me right, my dear friend. Closer to cancer, closer to a life you didn't sign up for. You won't hear this at your clinic. No billboard will shout it out for you, but it's buried deep in the science, in the stories of thousands of seniors just like you and me, who trusted too much, questioned too little, and paid the price. A recent study found that 30% of medical tests in seniors lead to complications, not solutions. And 99% of us have no clue we're being overtested. I know that number sounds wild, but the wildest part, some of these tests are still being done every single day. I'm not here to scare you, my dear friend. I'm here because I care, because I've seen what happens when good people get caught in bad systems. I've seen what happens when someone thinks they're protecting their health, but ends up losing their peace of mind. Let me tell you a quick story. Rose was 76, a retired piano teacher. She was active, sharp, no falls, no pain. But after her routine checkup, the doctor sent her for a bone density scan. Just to be safe, they said. 3 months later, she wasn't playing piano anymore. The meds they gave her for something mild, something not even dangerous, stole her sleep, gave her jaw pain, and left her curled up in fear. Or take George, 74, who forgot a few names and ended up with a brain MRI. The results, normal aging, but the fear it triggered nearly broke him. He stopped driving, stopped going to church. He thought he was done for. And they're not alone. These stories are happening quietly every day across this country. Good people scared by screens nudged toward procedures they never needed, living in a cloud of anxiety they didn't ask for. So in this video, I want to walk you through 5 medical tests you should think twice about after turning 70. I'll share the science, the real risks, and the better options that could protect you not just from disease, but from unnecessary suffering. And I promise you won't believe what I reveal at number 2. Now, my dear friend, if you're still with me, I have 2 small favors to ask before we dive into the heart of this story. First, could you gently tap that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell? That way you won't miss a single powerful health secret we share here, just for folks like us who want to stay sharp, strong, and steady. Second, would you hit that like button and type the number 1 in the comments, just so I know you're here with me? And if this message touches you, please share this video with your old buddies on WhatsApp, your walking group, your Sunday church friends, or even on your Facebook page, because maybe, just maybe, that one share could help an old friend who's lying awake every night, a neighbor whose legs feel weak and shaky, or a brother from back in the day who's quietly battling fatigue he doesn't talk about. Your support, my dear friend, is like a vitamin for my soul. It keeps me going. It keeps this mission alive to bring light and truth to our community, one brave conversation at a time. And now, let's get to the truth. Let's walk together into the heart of this video, where I'll show you how one simple scan, the one most folks think is harmless, might actually be stealing more from you than it gives. Are you ready? Now, my dear friend, let's talk about one of the most common tests folks our age are told to get, the bone density scan. You've probably heard your doctor say, "Let's check your bones just to be sure." Sounds harmless, right? A quick scan, no needles, in and out. But here's the terrifying truth they don't tell you. After 70, a bone density scan, also called a DEXA scan, often causes more fear than benefit. It measures how strong your bones are, looking for signs of osteoporosis. But guess what? The older you get, the more likely that scan will show bone loss. Not because you're in danger, but because that's just what aging does. Bone thinning is as natural as gray hair or wrinkles. Yet when the scan shows osteopenia, a mild decrease in bone density, many doctors rush to prescribe drugs like bisphosphonates. These medications might sound like a shield for your bones, but in truth, they come with heavy baggage. Let me lay it out for you. A study from the Journal of the American Geriatric Society followed over 200 women over 70. It found that bisphosphonates reduced fracture risk by only 0.3% after 5 years. That's barely a scratch. But what they did bring, side effects like severe heartburn, esophagus, irritation, and in rare cases, jawbone death. Yes, you heard that right. Your jawbone dying. I want to tell you about Rose again. Remember her from earlier. She walked daily, never had a fall, no complaints. But one scan, one number on a screen got her labeled with osteopenia. Her doctor put her on alendronate. 3 months later, she couldn't sleep. Her jaw throbbed. She had acid burning her throat every night. She stopped playing piano, stopped smiling. We took her off the meds, started her on strength training with resistance bands, gave her a calcium-rich diet, sardines, leafy greens, the good stuff. We added vitamin D. 1 year later, she was stronger than ever, 0 fractures, and she was back performing Chopin like she was 50 again. The science backs this up. A 2022 study in Osteoporosis International found that lifestyle, not medication, reduced fracture risk by over 20% in older adults. Strength training, balance exercises, good food, sunshine. That's your real protection, my dear friend. Not a pill, not a panic scan. Don't let a machine tell you you're broken. Don't let fear push you into treatment you don't need. You are not fragile. You are wise. And your body still has so much strength left. We just need to wake it up the right way. Now, if you're still with me, I'd love for you to do 2 things. First, give this video a like and type, "I'm stronger than they think" in the comments. Second, share this story, share it with anyone who's ever been told their bones are crumbling when really their spirit just needs lifting. And up next, we're going deeper into a test that doesn't just shake your body, it shakes your mind, memory, identity, fear of losing yourself. Yes, my dear friend, we're about to talk about brain scans and the silent damage they can cause. Are you ready to uncover that truth with me? My dear friend, let me ask you something personal. Have you ever walked into a room and forgotten why you went there, or called your grandkid by your son's name, or spent 5 minutes looking for glasses that were on your head all along? It happens to the best of us. But when it starts happening more often, the fear creeps in. The whisper, could this be dementia? And that's when many folks, out of fear, out of love, or out of pressure, end up getting a brain MRI. Now, MRIs are powerful machines. They take detailed pictures of your brain, and doctors often use them to look for serious stuff, tumors, strokes, damage. But here's the terrifying truth buried deep in the research. In people over 70, most brain MRIs just show normal aging. That's right, shrinkage, white spots, changes in the wiring, all common, all expected. But once those spots show up on a screen, everything changes. According to a 2021 study published in Neurology Today, researchers looked at over 3,000 MRI scans in seniors aged 70 to 85 who had mild memory issues. 86% showed some form of abnormality, but only 3% were linked to something treatable. Let that sink in. That means 97% of folks were scared for no reason. Many of them were pushed into follow-up tests like spinal taps or even brain biopsies. Some ended up worse than when they started. I want to tell you about George. He was 74, sharp as a tack, but he started misplacing his keys and forgetting names at Bible study. His doctor ordered an MRI just to be safe. It showed white matter changes. George panicked. He thought it was over. He gave up his driver's license, stopped going to church. But when we saw him, we gave him a simple paper-based memory test, the kind you do with a pencil and a quiet room. He passed with flying colors. His forgetfulness, just normal aging. And with a little guidance, better sleep, more water, simple brain games, he bounced back. Within months, he was himself again. You see, my dear friend, a machine can't always tell the whole story. Sometimes it shows shadows, and we treat them like monsters. But memory isn't just about what a scan says. It's about how you feel, how you live, and how supported you are. So if you're worried about memory, start with something simple. A screening test. A good talk with someone who listens. Don't let an MRI take you down a road you don't need to travel. Now, if this message speaks to you, would you do me a kind favor? Hit that like button and drop a comment below with the words, "I trust my wisdom." And please share this video with someone who's silently scared, someone who needs to hear that they're not broken, just aging beautifully. And next, we're about to unravel a test that's even more common and even more risky. It's something done every day in hospitals and clinics across the country, A test that has led too many good people down a path of surgeries they never needed. Yes, my dear friend, it's time to talk about the cardiac stress test. And what I'm about to tell you may shake you. Are you ready to keep going? My dear friend, let's take a deep breath together and talk about something that affects our very heartbeat, the cardiac stress test. Now, this test is often given to seniors who mention feeling tired, a little off, or just not quite like themselves. The doctor says, let's run a stress test to see how your heart's doing. Sounds reasonable, doesn't it? You walk on a treadmill. They watch your heart. No big deal. But here's the terrifying truth your doctor may not tell you. For people over 70, cardiac stress tests often cause more harm than good. According to a major 2017 study published in JAMA Cardiology, more than half of all stents placed in older adults after stress tests were done in people who had no real symptoms and no improvement in their survival or quality of life. What they did get higher rates of bleeding, kidney damage, long hospital stays, all from a test they never truly needed. And that's not all. The false positive rate, meaning the test says something's wrong when it's actually not, can be as high as 40% in people over 70. Let me tell you about Raymond. He was 75. A retired mailman who walked every morning, rain or shine. One day he mentioned feeling a little more tired on hills. Nothing dramatic, just age catching up, he thought. His doctor ordered a stress test just to be safe. The results came back unclear. That led to a catheterization where they thread a tube through your artery to check for blockages. They found a minor narrowing and placed a stent. That night, Raymond had a reaction to the dye they used. It damaged his kidneys. He was in the hospital for 6 days, all for a test that didn't change his fatigue. You see, his tiredness wasn't from a bad heart. It was from mild dehydration and skipping meals. What he really needed was rest hydration and a better routine, not a metal tube in his chest. My dear friend, this is the part that hurts to say, but I must. Sometimes the chase to be safe ends up robbing us of the peace we already had. If you're not having classic symptoms, chest pain with activity shortness of breath, real drops in energy during light walking, a stress test may not help you. What might help more? A resting EKG, a coronary calcium scan, or even just talking through your lifestyle. So if you're still listening, and if your heart feels a little fuller from this truth, would you mind hitting that like button and typing in the comments, I trust my body more than the machines. And please, my dear friend, share this with someone who's worried about their heart, but has never actually felt their chest hurt. And now we're about to walk into a room most people fear, the colonoscopy room. Everyone says it saves lives, but for those of us over 75, the story takes a very different turn. Are you ready to hear the truth they never printed on the clinic brochure? My dear friend, let's talk about a test that most folks over 50 have been told to get at least once. You've probably had it already, maybe even more than once. I'm talking about the colonoscopy. They say it saves lives. They say it's the gold standard. But what no one tells you, especially after 70 and almost always after 75, is this. The risks can quietly outweigh the benefits. You see, colonoscopy isn't just a quick peek inside. It requires harsh preparation, powerful laxatives that can leave you dehydrated, dizzy, and drained. Then comes the sedation, which may seem light, but in older adults, it can cause confusion, memory fog, and even heart rhythm issues. And during the procedure itself, there's a real risk of bleeding, of bowel perforation, of emergency complications. A 2019 study published in JAMA Internal Medicine followed over 1.3 million Medicare patients age 70 and up. The findings: for every 1,000 colonoscopies done in people over 75, only 2 lives were saved, but over 20 people suffered serious complications. That's a 10-to-1 risk-to-benefit ratio. Now let me tell you about Dana. She was 73, a proud grandmother who ran a bakery with her daughter. She had no symptoms, no bleeding, no weight loss, no family history of colon cancer. But her new doctor, fresh out of residency, insisted on a routine colonoscopy. During the test, they found a small polyp and removed it. That night, Dana had stabbing pain in her stomach and passed out. At the hospital, they found a bowel perforation. She stayed in recovery for 9 days, lost 10 pounds, and her energy never came back. Here's the part that breaks my heart. She had already had 2 clean colonoscopies in the past. There was no reason to repeat it. None. My dear friend, I am not saying colonoscopy is bad for everyone. It's powerful in the right hands at the right time. But after 75, the rules change. And if you're healthy, symptom-free, and have a clean history, there are safer options. One of them is the FIT test, a simple stool test you can do at home. No prep, no sedation, and it still catches the red flags. So please don't let routine become a trap. Don't let just in case turn into, I wish I hadn't. Your health is too precious for that. Now, if this story opened your eyes or reminded you of someone you care about, would you tap that like button and type, I choose safety over routine in the comments? And share this video especially with the strong silent types who always say, I'm fine when they're anything but. And now, my dear friend, we've arrived at the final test on this journey. The one that's packaged as high-end, elite, even luxurious. A scan that's supposed to protect you from cancer, but might quietly cause it instead. Yes, we're talking about the full-body CT scan, and what you're about to hear may leave you speechless. Shall we continue? My dear friend, now comes the scan they call premium, executive. The kind offered at fancy private clinics dressed up in soft music and scented waiting rooms. The full-body CT scan. They tell you it's peace of mind. They say, let's catch everything early. But what they don't say, what they hope you don't ask, is this. That very scan could quietly lead you into a nightmare. You see, a full-body CT scan exposes you to massive doses of ionizing radiation. Each scan equals 500 chest x-rays. Yes, you read that right, 500. And here's the terrifying truth buried in the research. According to a 2023 study in JAMA Internal Medicine, up to 5% of all cancers in the United States may now be caused by medical imaging, especially CT scans. That's the same cancer risk as drinking alcohol every day. But unlike a drink, these scans often find things that were never going to hurt you. Small nodules, calcifications, cysts, harmless little aging changes. But once they show up on a screen, the panic begins. I want to tell you about Marcus. He was 80, a martial arts instructor for seniors, still strong, still flexible, still full of life. He went in for a senior elite checkup at a high-end clinic. The full-body scan showed a 3mm nodule in his lung. And, just like that, the chain reaction began. PET scan, needle biopsy, lung collapse, 2 weeks in the hospital, 2 months of recovery. The nodule benign. It could have been left alone, but his life shaken, his confidence cracked, his peace gone. My dear friend, I need you to hear this not from a machine, not from a brochure, but from someone who truly cares about your well-being. If you feel fine, if you have no symptoms, you don't need to scan your whole body. Doctors from the American College of Radiology say clearly full-body CT scans for healthy people have no proven benefit, only potential harm. Real prevention isn't about catching ghosts on a screen. It's about listening to your body moving gently, eating real food, sleeping deeply, and loving those around you. So if this story of Marcus makes your heart ache even just a little, would you tap that like button and type, I choose to live, not chase fear in the comments, and share this message with someone who's been tempted by flashy tests, someone who needs to hear that less can truly be more. Because now, my dear friend, we've come full circle. We've walked together through 5 tests that can quietly ruin your life, not because your body failed, but because the system forgot to slow down for people like us. But don't go just yet. In the final part of this video, I want to leave you with something soft, something true, a reminder of who you really are and the power you still carry. Shall we go there together? My dear friend, we've been through a lot together in this short time. We've pulled back the curtain on tests that looked helpful, but hid silent risks. We've talked about fear confusion and how easy it is to get caught in the machine of modern medicine. But now I want to leave you with something deeper than facts, something gentler than fear. I want to remind you that you are not a number on a screen. You are not a shadow on a scan. You are not a case to be managed. You are a soul, a story, a person with decades of wisdom, laughter, heartbreak, and healing inside you. And you, my dear friend, still have power. The power to ask questions, the power to say no, the power to live fully, not trapped by worry, but led by clarity. Modern medicine is a miracle, yes, but only when used with care, with conscience, and with compassion. Sometimes the bravest thing we can do is pause before we say yes to any test, any pill, any procedure, because your time, your energy, your peace of mind are worth more than 1,000 diagnostics. So here's what I ask of you as we part for now. If this video brought light to your heart, if it made you stop and think, even for a moment, please share it. Share it with someone you love, someone who's scared, someone who's been told to do just one more test. And drop a comment below telling me which part of this video surprised you the most. I'd love to hear your story, to know that you're still here with me. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, because here we don't chase hype. We honor truth. We honor you. I'll leave you with an old saying that my grandfather used to whisper when I worried too much. You don't need to outrun the storm. Just find a place to stand still and let the light come through. You don't need to fix everything today. Just take one deep breath, ask one thoughtful question, and trust that your body, your wisdom, and your choices still matter. Until next time, my dear friend, stay curious, stay kind, and most of all, stay free.